Violating court orders and even the law as you overreach and harass, yeah, that's not going to make the judge even madder, is it? So the newest filings in Virginia call it the duplicity and the desperation of a certain nameless person, saying time and again, you folks, you lie, you don't do what you're supposed to, and you go overboard while trying to harass. In fact, JD's team points out they could fix these issues simply by getting together through meet and confer processes, but that nameless person's counsel, they've refused no fewer than 4 different attempts to do so. Why? Because they can file things just like this, and they can complain about the other side, saying, look, judge, they're the problem, not us. Now, something that fascinates me, and props to the real Laura B for posting this, is that the judge in Virginia, the former judge, not the new one, has called out this behavior before, using the exact language that we see utilized by JD's team. So you and I, we're going to look at this new filing. We're going to look at the desperation tactics that it employs and what a judge has said about this in the past. Buckle up, because it's a fascinating ride. So hey there to all you fine folks. I hope your day is going excellently. And if you would, share this video, feed that pesky algorithm. If you're subbed to the channel, make sure you're still subbed. And if you haven't, well, you don't have to, but you know you want to touch those shiny buttons. So as far as this document is concerned, I think it's pretty telling. Why? Because it showcases the strategy of a certain nameless person. That strategy, it's been number 1, delay. And in this instance, it's also overreach, basically not wanting to work with the other side and then claiming, hey, party foul, those guys over there, they're the problem. Now, JD's team, they call this out almost immediately, saying that this filing here, it's not only a typical thing by these folks, but it's also a troubling one. Quote, that nameless person's conduct in filing the present motion is both typical and troubling. Most of the RFPs, if we run across that, by the way, I may just read it as request for production. That's what it stands for. At issue are patently overbroad, they're harassing, and they're improper. Nonetheless, many issues could have been resolved through the meet and confer process. Here's the thing, too. You have this pointed out again and again by judges. They have made this stuff so hard. Basic things that you see other cases work out. Yeah, you don't even have that in this case. So that nameless person's counsel outright refused no fewer than 4 attempts by JD to meet and confer. The court should deny that nameless person's latest improper motion and sanction her for filing it. So not only should they deny, but they should actually make her pay for doing this as well. Now, like I was saying previously, and again, props to the real Laura B for posting this on Twitter, but you have the judge that was in Virginia, the previous one, they called this behavior out in spectacular form, talking about broad overreaches, talking about not following the rules and on. So you have a new judge that's called this out. You have the old judge that's called this out. You have California that calls this out and on. So listen to this here. And this, by the way, this is the person that represents that nameless person. I'm going to make a comment to you. Now, maybe I shouldn't, but I'm going to anyway. But you risk losing credibility with the court when you come before the court and accuse the other side of not following the rules, yet you repeatedly have tried to add matters to the argument document that were not on the document. That would be a violation of the rules. So already you have a call out there. Then you get to the overreach part, which is really what you're having called out in this document that JD's team filed. So you also send vastly overbroad requests, apparently in the hopes they will negotiate something better than what you might have gotten had you sent a reasonable request in the first place. So that's part of the reason that we have this on Friday docket, not simply because they are not giving you everything that you ask for, or they are not negotiating in a fashion that you wish for them to negotiate with. So I hope I am clear on that. I am sorry I have to say it. Basically, you have a judge that doesn't want to call them out, but calls them out on record. I mean, that says something, and it's happening more and more often. Now, as examples of vast overreach and really the harassment or transferal of harassment to JD, you have examples like this. You have RFP, or request for reduction number 5, other litigation where that nameless person, they want vast quantities of documents from unrelated litigation involving JD, including highly complex litigation against JD's former business partners. This is when he sued TMG and his former entertainment attorneys. Why? Because they mismanaged his money, because they took millions in self-serving deals. They didn't pay any type of taxes. Basically, that nameless person wants to weaponize anything from that, unsealing it. You know that stuff would go right to the public, too. Why? Because they say it's a transparent effort to harass JD. Now, some of these, they go even further than broad overreach and the transferal of harassment, and they violate court orders. You're going to have this stuff brought up in separate motions, too, asking for sanctions because of it. And, well, listen to this. You'll understand why. So the request for production, number 6, it's also inappropriate and overbroad. That nameless person seeks all documents, quote, relied upon to generate a third-party production of 52 pages of profit and loss statements and income statements from JD's companies over the last 10-year period, along with spreadsheets summarizing JD's income over the same period. Now, here's your violation. So that nameless person publicly filed this 52-page third-party production, which was designated confidential, in an utterly unnecessary public exposure of JD's personal finance information, which constitutes a violation of the protective order. Setting aside that violation, which will be addressed in a separate motion, so that separate motion that's going to go after them for doing this too, the request for production number 6 is plainly overbroad and it's intrusive. What's more, some of these, they seek to circumvent appropriate legal channels, basically saying, I don't care about timing. I don't care when things are supposed to be turned over. We want a sneak peek at what your experts are doing prematurely, basically allowing them to know what's going to come up. Request for production number 7 and 9. They seek premature and improper expert discovery. Number 7 seeks documents consulted and or relied upon by any expert designated by JD, including anything supporting their opinions. Now, this goes beyond expert disclosure required under Virginia law. JD, he said, I'll turn this stuff over when the timing comes up as stated in the rules. That's proper. But what you guys are asking for? Oh, no, that's not at all. Now, what's even crazier than the overreach or the harassment are the attempts to revitalize old items, like number 22 and 23. Number 22, it demands all agreements, payments, communications with anyone providing any type of computer, internet, or social media service to JD without the slightest limitation as to the subject matter or any effort to tailor the request to this action. Number 23 demands all communications of any kind with or relating to Twitter, to Instagram, to Facebook, to LinkedIn, or any internet service provider relating to all services and charges. Now, what do those have to do with? What do they really want to say? Well, apparently that nameless person, they're trying to bring up the argument again that JD is controlling an army of bots. Adam Waldman is doing that too. That stuff, it's been shot down in the past, and this, it isn't just overreach. This, it's sanctionable. That pesky little thing called laws and rules. Oh, what a mess. But anyway, let me know what you think about this stuff. And as always, appreciate the heck out of you. You make this stuff work, so thank you. Want to help out the channel in different ways? There are links in the description. Check those out, too, if you want to help out. But you being here, that matters. So thank you. I appreciate you. And I want to end by saying thank you again, and we will see you soon.